All right, so today we are really diving into this whole international forwarding operations coordinator thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent over some really interesting stuff about this career path, and
hmm
I'm really interested to kind of dig in and unpack it a little bit and really see what it takes to, really thrive in this role.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it goes way beyond your typical logistics gig. We're talking like global puzzle solving on another level.
It's definitely a lot more dynamic than I think people realize, when you think like cargo ships and stuff. It's like,
Right.
but like imagine a shipment's held up because a volcano just erupted in Iceland.
Oh, wow.
This actually happened. And the International Forwarding Operations Coordinator is the one who, in that moment of chaos, has to figure out a new route, renegotiate timelines, keep the entire operation, afloat.
Wow. So it's like you're saying it's not just about knowing like the routes and when things are supposed to get there. It's about thinking on your feet when something totally unexpected throws a wrench in the plan. So from what you're saying, this role requires this unique blend of, serious logistics expertise, but then also like high-level problem-solving skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're the ones ensuring that goods move seamlessly across borders,
That-
dealing with customs regulations and tariffs that I think most people don't even know exist.
right.
So it's not just pushing paper around, it's really understanding like the intricate dance of international trade and how to keep those goods moving no matter what.
And when you say customs regulations and tariffs, like what does that actually look like in practice?
Sure.
Help us wrap our heads around how complex is this that they're dealing with?
Yeah, so imagine this, you're shipping textiles from Vietnam to Brazil.
Okay.
You need to be fluent in Vietnamese export regulations,
Wow.
international shipping conventions, Brazilian import laws.
Oh my gosh.
All while factoring in things like tariffs and licenses and potential inspections.
A lot.
And that's just one shipment.
Yeah.
These coordinators might be juggling dozens of these intricate processes at the same time.
So they're like masterminds of global trade.
Essentially, yes.
Wow. I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like they're like these global trade detectives that are like piecing together all these rules and regulations to make sure everything kind of flows.
And a single missed detail, like a wrong digit in a customs code, could mean your shipment gets held up at the border, costing your client time and money.
Oh my gosh, the pressure.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah.
like attention to detail isn't just a bonus skill in this role. It's like the name of the game.
Exactly.
No room for error
Yeah.
when you're dealing with, global commerce on this scale.
Right. And you also have to keep in mind that the global landscape is constantly shifting. New trade agreements, political climate's changing. Even something like a pandemic can really throw a curveball.
Oh, yeah.
Adaptability is key.
So not only do you have to be incredibly organized,
Yeah.
detail-oriented, but you have to be able to think on your feet when those inevitable curveballs come flying your way.
hmm
But it's not just about the logistics, is it? I imagine that communication skills are just as crucial in this role
Oh, absolutely.
because you're the bridge between the clients, the suppliers, everyone in between.
You're communicating, constantly negotiating with suppliers, managing client expectations, and making sure that everybody is always on the same page.
Right.
You might be explaining to a client why their shipment is delayed because of a typhoon in the Pacific 1 minute,
Right.
and then negotiating a new shipping route with a freight company the next.
Wow. So you're like a global trade diplomat.
It's a demanding role, no doubt, but it offers a front row seat to the world of international commerce.
Yeah.
And for those who thrive in a fast-paced, dynamic environment, it can be incredibly rewarding.
So I know we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
You mentioned, they need to be fluent in things like, tariffs and trade agreements. What kind of training or education lays the groundwork for a career like this?
That's where things get interesting. A solid educational foundation is usually the first step.
So you're telling me this isn't just about knowing your way around a cargo ship. You need some serious, brain power to navigate this world. Yes, you do.
So give us the inside scoop on the educational journey.
Yeah, so usually a bachelor's degree in something like logistics or supply chain management or even international business is a really common starting point.
Okay.
These programs really equip you with that foundational knowledge of global trade transportation systems and, of course, those all-important customs regulations.
Right. So you're learning the language of international commerce from, Incoterms to bills of lading, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
It can't be all textbooks and classrooms, can it?
Right.
How does someone then go from studying this to actually doing it in the real world?
Yeah, hands-on experience is absolutely critical.
Okay.
This is where internships come in.
Yeah.
Imagine spending a summer at a freight forwarding company learning the ins and outs of documentation customs clearance.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even troubleshooting a shipment delay firsthand.
Yeah, that's a crash course in global logistics.
Exactly.
I bet those real-world experiences are invaluable when it comes to actually landing that first job.
Mm.
Oh, for sure. And, when you're starting out, a lot of it is about proving your ability to master those fundamentals.
Okay.
So think of it like this. You start by coordinating shipments for a specific trade lane, maybe between China and the US. You're responsible for everything from booking that cargo space to preparing the necessary documentation,
Right.
making sure it complies with both Chinese export and US import regulations.
It's like being this conductor of a global orchestra of goods, making sure everything arrives on time and in tune with the regulations.
I like that analogy a lot.
Right.
And as you gain experience and confidence, you might find yourself taking on more responsibility. Maybe you're managing a team of junior coordinators, or you're the go-to person for a specific region,
Okay.
navigating all this complexities of trade with, say, the European Union.
So there's a clear kind of growth trajectory here.
Yeah.
You start by mastering the basics, then you specialize, you lead, and eventually you're orchestrating international trade on this larger and larger scale.
Exactly. And speaking of leveling up, this is where those certifications that you mentioned come in, things like the CITP,
Okay.
the Certified International Trade Professional.
Right, because anyone can say they're good at navigating international regulations, but having a certification is like having a seal of approval
Right.
from the global trade gods themselves.
Exactly.
So tell us more about how these certifications can actually give someone a competitive edge in this field.
Yeah, it's really about proving your expertise. So let's take that CITP as an example.
Okay.
That certification from the International Trade Council really demonstrates a deep understanding of customs, regulations, trade documentation, compliance requirements.
Yeah.
It's basically a signal to employers that you're serious about this field,
Mm-hmm.
that you have the knowledge to back it up.
So it's not just a piece of paper. It's a testament to your commitment to mastering all those complexities of international trade.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it can open doors to, new opportunities, higher salaries, even specialized roles.
Mhm.
Some companies actually require these certifications for certain positions.
That makes sense when you're dealing with, the intricate dance of global commerce. You want someone who knows the steps inside and out.
Exactly. Now, certifications are just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Remember those professional organizations that we talked about?
Right, like FIATA,
Yeah.
the International Federation of Freight Forwarders Associations,
Mhm.
or CSCMP, the Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals.
Exactly.
Right, it sounds like an exclusive club for the movers and shakers of international trade.
They are great resources.
Okay.
Think of them as your secret weapon for staying ahead of the curve.
Okay.
Joining these organizations connects you to a global network of professionals,
Right.
provides access to industry events, training programs, keeps you updated on all the latest trends and technologies impacting international trade.
So it's like having your finger on the pulse of the global trade network,
Yeah.
constantly learning, networking, expanding your knowledge base.
Yes, and in this field, complacency is not an option.
If you want to thrive, right?
Yeah. Exactly. This is a dynamic and ever-evolving industry, and those who are willing to adapt, learn, embrace new challenges, they're the ones who will truly succeed.
Now, we've talked a lot about the skills, the education, the certifications that kind of set these professionals apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take a moment to zoom out and appreciate the bigger picture here.
Okay.
We're talking about individuals who are literally facilitating global trade. They're connecting businesses and consumers across borders.
It's incredible.
What would you say is the most impactful aspect of this often overlooked profession? It's easy to get caught up in all the logistics of it, all the paperwork, the regulations, the problem solving. But at the end of the day, these are the people who are literally, like you said, keeping the wheels of global commerce turning.
It's amazing when you think about it, like the smartphone you're using, the coffee you drank this morning, the clothes you're wearing. Chances are an international forwarding operations coordinator had something to do with you getting those goods. They're like the invisible hands behind this global supply chain, making sure businesses have the materials they need, consumers have the products they want from all over the world.
It's like they're orchestrating this global symphony of goods connecting everyone.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
And it makes you realize in a world that's, only becoming more interconnected, that role is only going to become more important.
Absolutely. As global trade continues to expand, These are the professionals who are going to have to navigate those complexities and find those innovative solutions and make sure those goods continue to flow.
So for any of our listeners who are out there maybe feeling that little spark of interest, they're intrigued by all this, what advice would you give them as they kind of embark on their own deep dive into this world?
I think first and foremost, embrace that learning curve.
Yeah.
This is a field that really demands continuous growth and a real thirst for knowledge.
So it sounds like it's a good career path for someone who loves a good challenge, who never wants to stop expanding their horizon.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to dive into the details.
Okay.
Learn the Inca terms, familiarize yourself with different shipping documents, really try to understand the nuances of those customs regulations. That foundational knowledge is what's going to set you apart.
Become fluent in the language of global trade.
Exactly. And remember, networking is key. Attend industry events, connect with other professionals on LinkedIn. Think about joining those organizations like FIATA or CSCMP.
Right.
The more you immerse yourself in the world of international trade, the more opportunities are going to come your way.
Become a part of that global network.
Right. And never underestimate the power of curiosity. Ask questions, find a mentor, stay curious about the world and how things move. And I think that's the kind of mindset that will help anyone thrive in this field.
That's great advice. I love that. So we've really gotten the glimpse into this, intricate, challenging, but ultimately rewarding world of the International Forwarding Operations Coordinator. It's a career path for those who are passionate about global connectivity. They thrive in those fast-paced environments and are always up for a challenge. So if that sounds like you, maybe this is the deep dive that leads you to your next adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those goods moving.